Sydney McLaughlin Levrone had a sense she would make history in Tokyo at the World Championships. Four-time Olympic gold medalist, past women's health cover star, and New Balance athlete Sydney McLaughlin Levrone just made history again. Last week, at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, she became the first woman in nearly 40 years to run the 400-meter in under 48 seconds. She now holds the second fastest time ever for the distance. The 26-year-old can't exactly say she knew a record was coming, but she did not know it either. There was just a vibe leading up to the event in Tokyo, she says, a sense of peace and preparation from her whole team. When I have days like that, my husband says I don't talk much, she tells Women's Health. I don't notice because I'm so locked in, but looking back you kind of sense that you're ready to go, and I think it definitely was one of those days. As she was getting into starting position, McLaughlin Levrone wasn't nervous. That happens in the hours leading up to the race, when the waiting leaves her mind with time to wander. Instead, she was getting into the zone. My number one thing was, you have to get out hard for the first 20, 30 meters, she says. That's what I just kept telling myself in my head. She runs through a list of other reminders as she takes the track. I have to get out of the blocks. I can't be sluggish. I can't be slow. Most importantly, this race is not going to wait for me, she says. As confident and energized as she felt on the track, the prep leading up to a 10:30 p.m. race is a test in itself. Most of the nerves come before the race, McLaughlin Levrone says. It's really the waiting that is the most anxious part. As for how she gets through that anxiety, it's simple. I definitely take naps, she says. It's about keeping her heart rate down and staying calm. I'll watch a show, I'll read a book, things to pass the time without expending too much energy because you want to save all of it for the moment. Right now, she's watching Peacock's The Office spinoff, The Paper. Dry humor on serious days helps ease nerves. And obviously, there were the months of physical preparation that went into her speedy performance, and it's something she works on both on the track and in the gym. Getting faster is really just about that muscle responsiveness, so it's working those fast twitch muscles, whether that's on the track sprinting or in the weight room working those muscles, or even doing plyometrics to help build that explosiveness, she says. After winning the 400 meters, there wasn't much time for celebration because she needed to get ready to run the 4x400 relay, a rainy race that Team USA decisively won. In between the events, McLaughlin Levrone and her husband snuck away for cheeseburgers, but that was about as much fanfare as the history maker enjoyed abroad. Celebration has looked like rest, she says. You build up so much energy for that moment, you put so much effort in, and the celebration looks like getting to sleep in and not having to wake up and go to practice. In the 2 months of downtime she has before training picks back up, McLaughlin Levrone is excited to be a real girl again, meaning she's looking forward to dressing up and spending less time in athletic clothes, being able to be around people she loves because she has fewer obligations, and not going to the gym every day. For the professional athlete, time off means having periods when she's not working out at all, because she needs that break. When she does get active, she goes to the pool, rides a bike, or jumps rope. Really, anything that gets her heart rate up, but doesn't put a big load on her body. McLaughlin Levrone also has her recovery routine locked down, whether in season or out. Ice baths are her number one, especially when she has back-to-back workouts. I used to absolutely hate it, but it's become one of my best friends, she says. You just feel so much better. During a demanding training block, she'll hop in an ice bath 3 to 4 times a week for 10 minutes each time. She also relies on a network of physical therapists and trainers, and her Normatec boots. And, while she loves training, seeing the progress on her hurdles, time, or how she explodes out of the blocks, there are challenges that come with it too. As any athlete knows, sometimes the practice that goes into winning a gold medal or breaking a record can get monotonous. There's always a part in the season where you're like, okay, I'm waking up to run around an oval again, she says. I'm still running and turning left. In those moments, it's all about mindset. The one thing I tell myself is you're not going to be able to do this forever, she says. There's going to come a time where you're either going to move on or you're not going to be able to run like you used to, and life is just going to look different. Thinking about the future allows her to appreciate the present moment, even if it's a run-of-the-mill training day. It's not a normal-looking job, but it's one that I love, and though it has its moments where it can feel tiresome, I am extremely blessed, and I want to make the most of that, she says. So far, she definitely has. There are moments in an athlete's life when the future whispers before it arrives. For Sydney McLaughlin Levrone, that whisper came not as a shout of destiny, but as a quiet, persistent certainty, a sense that something world-shifting was just beyond the next hurdle. She couldn't have explained it at first, not to her coaches, not even to herself. But as the 2020 Tokyo Olympics approached, postponed by a year due to the global pandemic, Sydney felt something deep within her spirit, a rare kind of readiness. It wasn't just the hours of sweat and solitude, the thousands of steps refined into flawless rhythm. This was something more profound, a sense of alignment, as if the world had finally caught up with the pace she was born to run, a dream that never slept. Even as a young girl growing up in Dunellen, New Jersey, Sydney didn't just dream of the Olympics, she trained for them. She sprinted with purpose. She hurdled with heart. At just 16, she qualified for the Rio Olympics in 2016, becoming the youngest U.S. track and field athlete to make the Games in over 4 decades. Though she didn't reach the final that year, the experience lit a flame that would never flicker. "I knew I belonged there," she once said, even if the world didn't know it yet. After Rio, Sydney transformed. She trained with focus, sharpened her technique, and studied the art of hurdling not just as a sport, but as a language, one she would someday speak fluently to the world. Every step, every breath, was a syllable. Every hurdle was punctuation. And in the background, that whisper, "You are meant for something historic." A new chapter. In 2020, as the world shut down, Sydney did not. She used the stillness as a crucible. While many athletes faced uncertainty, Sydney welcomed clarity. She joined forces with coaching legend Bobby Kersee, a man known for turning raw talent into gold. Their bond was more than coach and athlete. It was mentor and believer,